Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this gorgeous skirts with side frills. So if that is something you're interested in learning or knowing how to make, then keep on watching. And if you're a first timer on my channel, click on the subscribe button to join the family and turn on your post notifications so you'll be the very first to know when I upload a video. Alright, so I've got my skirt patterns here. I have a detailed video on how to make these patterns already on my channel. So what I'll be doing, I'll be tracing out these patterns onto a fresh paper, measuring out the length that I want. I want my skirt to be about 23 inches long, so I'm going to measure this body of the skirt to be about 20 inches and the waistband to be 3 inches wide. So I'm just going to trace that out on this green paper here, and this is it all traced out. So this paper is on fold because I want my full front block for this, and that is why I have this done on fold for the front, but the back I didn't do it on fold, I just did it on one piece. So right now I'm going above my hip line by 2.5 inches. So I'm just going to go above that hip line by 2.5 inches and mark the point that measures 2.5 inches. You can go higher if you want, depending on how high or where you want your frill or flounce to start from, but 2.5, yeah, I just marked out 2.5 at this point. Then I'm just going to measure 1.5 inches from that center line towards the side of the skirt. From that center front inwards, I'm just going to mark 1.5 inches like so. And next up, I'll be connecting those 2 points together using dotted lines. The point above the hip line to that point I just drew, I'll be connecting those points with dotted lines. Haven't done that, this is what it looks like. I'm just going to open up and see how it looks. At this point, I realized that 2.5 inches was quite low, so I'm going to go upwards again by another 1.5 inches. So I'm going above that 2.5 inches by another 1.5 inches, and I connected it back into those dotted lines that I made earlier. So what I'll be working with is the new line that I drew, not the initial 2.5 inches mark above the hip line. I'm working with that new line that I just drew, or those new dotted lines that I just drew. Then I went ahead to cut out the pieces. I went ahead to cut that out, and this is what I'm using to cut out my fabric. Do note that this pattern does not have a hem allowance, so I'll be adding the hem allowance on the fabric, an extra half inch seam allowance along that cut part that we just made, that slit that we just made, which is there. Then I notched the bottom of the skirt where the hemline would start, and I extended that peak on that side by an extra 1 inch or 1.5 inch, just so when you sew it to the bigger part of the skirt, it fits and it doesn't come out too short. It's basically like the princess that pattern you get. So I basically extended that tiny little peak by an extra 1 inch on that side, so when you sew it to the bigger part of the skirt, it doesn't turn out to be too short. Okay, so if you don't understand it, just check out my princess that video. I have it on my channel as well. Next up, I'm going to measure the entire curve starting from that notch point. I'm not starting from the hem because the hem will be folded in, so you don't want the frill to be sewn in with the hem. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to measure from the notch where the hem would start all the way to that point where the frill will start along above my hip line. Then I'm just going to double that measurement, which is 38. So the initial measurement was 19. If I double 19, it will give me 38 inches. So I'm going to cut a flounce or a frill that is 38 inches long, just so I'm able to print it. Do know that you can go more in case you want a bigger volume, or in case you want your frill to be so big. Okay, so since my the length is 38 inches, I'll be dividing 38 inches by 6.28 to get the radius for this flounce or frill. So when I divide 38 inches by 6.28, I have 6 inches. So I've been using a radius of 6 inches, which I just marked out now. Then having marked out the 6 inches, I'm going to measure the length and cut out. The length of this frill would be 8 inches long. You can go longer, but yeah, the longer the better. You can go longer if you want. So to attach the frill or the flounce to my main fabric, I'm going to place it on that notch at the hem we made a notch at the hem where the hem would start. So I'm going to place the flounce at that notch and pleat from that notch to the hip point or above the hip point where the curve start. So having done that, this is not sewn at this point, guys. I'm just like placing it down just so you guys get a clear understanding of what I'm talking about. Okay. Then after sewing that frill or flounce to that part of the fabric, I'm going to use this other smaller part of the fabric, place it right sides onto the right sides of the bigger part, then guide the fabric through the from the bottom all the way to that end of the curve and just sew it down, ensuring that you guide the fabric and take your time to do this because it's a curve. You don't want to rush it and end up ruining the the after effect or the after outcome. Yeah, you don't want to end up ruining the outcome. So you want to take your time to guide that fabric from that end to the other end with care. Also with care, very important. Then at this point, I went ahead to just sew all the pieces together, attach the back to the front, and attach the waistband. And this is how it came out, really gorgeous. So guys, let me know your thoughts on this video. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up if you learned something, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Join the family and click on the bell icon so you'll be the very first to know when I have a new video. So guys, see you in my next video. Bye.